we all set up? Are we ready to go? Everything where it needs to be? Let me start by saying I blame TLC. I think TLC, starting with 19 Kids and Counting, spawned a sideshow cottage industry that invites us to gawk at families of unusual proportions. Little people, big world, one big happy family, big city, 1,000-pound sisters, Mormons with too many wives, and 7 little Johnstons. I'm sure that's not a complete list. American Family Road Trip on Instagram follows in this proud tradition. Mom Brittany, Dad JD, and 8 kids live a nomadic lifestyle, traveling the country in a 200 square foot bus. They were a TLC show, big family, tiny bus.
Is it a regular bus?
I said 200 square feet. It doesn't look as long as a city bus, but it looks bigger than a camper. I'm not a bus expert. Their content is very repetitive. The vast majority of their videos feature trending audio plus a parade of their children. Oh wow, just look at them all. Their captions extol the virtues of their lifestyle, where they put family time and adventure ahead of financial security or having a bigger space. In her Instagram captions, Brittany makes some bold claims. She states that she and JD were called by God to live on a bus and have a huge family.
But I was standing by the window looking out onto our backyard one day, and I was contemplating, like the great men of faith in the Bible, and I thought, God, do you have something like that for me? And it was such a powerful experience. God convicted me, he spoke into my life and he said, I want you to build an ark.
The parents make this unusual lifestyle seem idyllic. Days spent hiking in national parks, running around campgrounds, and working on a homeschool curriculum that takes just a few hours a day to complete.
I follow an eclectic education plan. I start the littles with an engaging activity, while the elders begin a classical model memory work, followed by a one-room schoolhouse learning units. Done by lunch, now it's time to explore.
I saw several posts where Brittany states that they're not telling everyone to have a ton of kids, but they also definitely are saying exactly that. They also claim that they know the nomadic lifestyle isn't for everyone.
I've had people more than once, I want to build a bus, tell me how, and I'm like, did God tell you to build a bus?
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't tell you to build a bus, it is a lot of work.
But also present a highly idealized look at life on the road. It has to be stressful traveling with that many kids, but I don't believe they ever show that side of their lives. They only allude to it in passing. Except in this one story that JD told on a podcast about a time he drove the bus over a questionable bridge that was specifically labeled for 4-wheel vehicles only.
So check this out.
Like,
the funny part about it is we're going up the hill and I see this, I'm winding up and I see 4x4 only on the sign.
Oh, fuck.
And I was like, what is going on here? Let's go.
How adventurous. I can't believe anyone ever questions their judgment. I should pause here to say that you may find some of what I'm going to tell you about this family infuriating, but please don't go to their page to harass them or leave mean comments. Comments only drive their engagement and therefore their revenue, so leave any thoughts you have in my comment section. I should also mention that I usually don't censor comments, but I will delete any that mention their kids' names because I don't believe that minors should be exposed to an adult audience. Their parents do, but I don't. I will also have to delete any comments that are attempting to offer any kind of medical diagnosis for reasons that will, unfortunately, become clear. Naturally, people who admire their lifestyle have questions about the practical side of life on the road. For instance, they get a lot of questions about how exactly they make money. JD and Brittany describe themselves as entrepreneurs, and JD often promotes his company, SatSaver, which provides a technology that helps Bitcoin users keep track of their seed phrases.
But in the whole Bitcoin ethos is that I don't have to trust other people, right? So most people write their seed words down and just hope nobody's watching over their shoulders, and then they shove them in their underwear drawer or some clever hiding spot. Maybe they punch them on a plate or whatever. But if you find that, you still know their seed words. Well, to get to it, SatSaver provides an encryption system that's a no-tech encryption system because you don't want your seed words on a digital device. You don't want to take pictures of it or anything like that. You write your seed, you use our kit to encrypt your seed words, and they're safe even if they're seen because they've been reordered. Just imagine the numbers on the back of a credit card. They work if they stay the same, but if you jumble them all up, you just don't have access anymore. So that's what SatSaver does in a sense for seed words. And you just decrypt your seed words with a simple pin word or passphrase.
Seed phrases are basically passwords used to access crypto wallets, no?
This company sounds exploitative to begin with.
Exploitative, like, because you don't need that technology?
Correct.
Okay, but I have heard of nightmare scenarios where people who bought Bitcoin way back when, like right when it first came out, lost their seed phrases, and now they have like millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin that they cannot access because they don't have their seed phrase. If only they had sat saver. See, I'm doing it ad for them. They can't complain. I have no idea how much money they make from these endeavors, but they frequently reference the fact that they aren't rich in money, but are rich in relationships and family togetherness. But how much togetherness is too much? And how the heck do you all sleep in one bus? Tours of the bus reveal 6 bunk beds. Remember I said they have 8 children. The parents sleep on a large bed that they pull down at night. I guess the baby could be in a collapsible crib, but that still leaves 1 unaccounted for. Like, are 2 sharing a bunk? To my knowledge, the lots haven't explained sleeping arrangements. And they certainly don't owe me an explanation, but I'm a curious person, so I'm just gonna ask. And even if there is room for everyone to sleep, they only get privacy in the bathroom. That seems tough, mentally. But what do I know? I'm an only child. Maybe it's fun.
No, that sounds stinky.
Lots of viewers share my curiosity about sleeping arrangements and about you know what. The lots have posted a lot of suggestive reels alluding to their unrelenting attraction to each other. Okay, so where and when does your rabbit-like copulation take place? Is this a nosy question? Of course it is. But again, I would argue that it's a question that the lots are putting in our heads with these very weird, horny posts. I saw someone comment saying, I'd be concerned about not being able to sleep and hearing my parents trying to make another. American Family Road Trip responded saying, is that really what you think about when you see families with small homes? That's a little judgmental. And keep in mind, they don't respond that much to comments. This obviously struck a nerve. And I will also add that a bus is not a small home. It is a Pringles can. A Pringles can that also happens to serve as a one-room schoolhouse because the lots obviously can't attend school while they're traveling full-time. So instead, they practice homeschooling or road schooling, as they like to call it.
It has been so good to homeschool.
Our kids are thriving.
They're thriving. They love it. And then getting in the bus, road schooling is essentially just taking everything they were learning out of their books and doing it in person. So
yeah, it's huge.
You know, you're learning about history, and then the next thing you know, we're at the Appomattox courthouse and we're watching a reenactment. And it takes it to the next level.
Yeah. I know a bit about homeschooling. I was homeschooled from 1st through 10th grade, after which I started going to community college. While I think it is possible to get a good homeschooling education, especially with all the online resources available now, a lot of homeschoolers rely on a homeschool community for socialization and getting in a good variety of activities, which obviously their full-time travel does not allow for. Their approach is way different from my homeschooling experience. I was in multiple homeschool groups. For instance, I attended a homeschool history co-op where I was in a class with about 5 to 10 other kids my age. We followed the same curriculum and the moms took turns teaching. Brittany even references these types of groups when she talks about the benefits of homeschooling. Critics claim homeschooling limits socialization, but studies, e.g. Journal of School Choice 2023, show homeschoolers often excel socially and academically, engaging in sports, co-ops, and meetups. Real-world interactions allow homeschoolers to outpace traditional desk-focused curriculum. Okay, but you aren't doing any of those things? Co-ops, meetups, activity groups.
You know, people say, hey, what happens if they want to play, you know, do something with other kids or organize sports? Like, we've stopped.
We stopped and we played football.
And
none of them liked it.
Homeschooling definitely doesn't have to be isolating, but their version certainly seems like it is. It did always annoy me when people would say to my face, homeschoolers aren't socialized. You don't know how to socialize. Like, I'm talking to you and you're the one being weird. Also, are there not any antisocial public schoolers? think I'm looking at one right now.
Oh, yeah.
If anything, homeschoolers are too social because we're so happy to see people that we aren't related to. I'm sure people, if you've met a homeschooler, like, you know the vibe I'm talking about. They're like, who are you? What's your deal? So happy to meet you. Not my sibling. I know the lots talk about stopping and meeting up with other like-minded families.
I mean, we are well known to go park in friends' houses in their front yard and have the ultimate party. For a few days, you know?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's super fun.
But that seems occasional and not like it's part of their regular routine. A lot of viewers question how this type of 24/7 family time affects the teenager. Brittany insists that her oldest teenager loves traveling full-time with his family, even at an age when it would be developmentally normal for him to be more interested in spending time with friends. Brittany says all this stuff about teens wanting space from their parents is just media brainwashing. I'm sure she's not biased. What about grading? Are mom and dad assigning grades? Is it possible for parents to grade objectively? My mom graded most of my work from 9th to 10th grade, and those weren't real grades, and they weren't useful when I was applying to college. I was able to get into a 4-year college because I had community college credits, and I got into community college because my mom yelled at some people who worked there. I'm guessing that loophole might not exist anymore, so I don't recommend that strategy to anyone else. In my experience, lots of homeschool curriculums tend to focus more on ideology and religion and less so on academics. See my creationist biology textbook and a civics class that promoted the idea that the founding fathers were all Christian and the Constitution is basically an extension of the Bible. America is meant to be a Christian nation. Don't worry about it. Don't look too closely at what the founding fathers actually got up to on the weekend. Benjamin Franklin was a freak.
Oh, yeah.
In the late 1700s, a group of Englishmen formed the first Hellfire Club, a fraternity dedicated to drinking, sex, and at times ridiculing Christianity and mocking its sacred rituals. Members met at ruined monasteries to revel in black masses and drunken orgies. An occasional participant was the American ambassador to Great Britain, Benjamin Franklin.
Those tiny little glasses fogging up. I don't have a lot of information about the American Road Trip Family's curriculum, but I saw this post where Brittany promotes the Tuttle Twin series, which are conservative textbooks by Connor Boyack, a man who describes himself as an outlaw beekeeper. He also founded...
But he keeps outlaw bees, or he, isn't legally allowed to do that?
I think the second one. I didn't look into it that much. He also founded the Libertas Network, which encourages teens to skip college and save $250,000 by becoming entrepreneurs using the Praxis program. Brittany and JD explicitly stated that college is not their educational goal for their kids, but entrepreneurship is. Our kids don't need an official high school transcript to get into college. They're going to be entrepreneurs for Jesus and beekeepers in Christ. I would love to know more about what kind of business they think their kids will be starting. I have a sinking feeling that they expect them to follow in the family business of Bitcoin influencing and family vlogging. But to be completely fair to the lots, I agree that college can be a big racket. And a lot of public schools are not up to par. We know illiteracy and just really poor reading abilities are not uncommon among high school graduates. I went to a liberal arts college, and while I do feel that because of that education, I have really elite taste in YouTube videos, I don't know that I was super well prepared for the workforce.
Elite taste in YouTube
Elite!
videos?
ContraPoints, H Bomber Guy, Philosophy
You watch
Tube,
YouTube videos
Lindsay
that are 3
Ellis.
hours long.
But this conservative outlook that glorifies the free market and American entrepreneurs, freight trains, manifest destiny, coal, Bitcoin, slavery, ignores the fact that most businesses fail. Entrepreneurship, child exploitation. Entrepreneurship is grueling, and not everyone is cut out for it.
But child labor, they're all cut out for it.
They're all cut cut out for it.
If they're like able children, then they could work.
If you've got kids, you've got employees. Like, all 8 of your kids are definitely going to be entrepreneurs. And you're deciding that for them right now while they're children. I don't know. I'm not convinced. For all its failings, college does get your foot in the door to a lot of careers. Rightly or wrongly, lots of employers require you to have a bachelor's degree, even for jobs that don't really require a college education. It's not right, but that is how it is. To reiterate, this all fits my experience of homeschooling. Lots of ideology and biblical principles, libertarian ethos, but not always a lot of academic follow-through. Even more than their tiny home or radical approach to education, the Lotts are unfortunately best known for a scary encounter they had with CPS, which was fueled by rumors circulating on a Reddit snark page called Fundy Snark Uncensored.
Basically, people trying to go from just saying things that they disagree to using the government to try to weaponize it and take our children from us.
Yeah.
When I first announced on a post that I would be covering this family, a commenter said, "Be careful, they got the Fundy Snark Uncensored Reddit shut down." If you're not aware, family vloggers, especially fundamentalist or fundy vloggers, are frequently subjects of snark pages on Reddit. Redditors gather in these forums to comment on posts by influencers that they find especially ridiculous. There's a lot of speculation and rumor alongside some totally fair criticisms. I have a whole video on the dark side of Reddit snark, but the short version of the video is, I'm glad these forums exist as a way to catalog the fraudulent behaviors of certain influencers and their strange fundamentalist ideologies. But a lot of Redditors take it way too far, and online speculation has inspired certain bad actors to harass influencers in real life. Shortly after the Lot's 8th baby was born, on the bus, Redditors claimed... Wait, hold on. Don't judge yet.
Home birth, but it's a bus.
Bus birth.
You need to pull up to some place that has like a hose.
Hang on, I'm gonna explain the bus baby.
For water.
The bus birth. Redditors claimed that they could tell from pictures and videos that the baby was lethargic, jaundiced, and sunburned. Commenters believe the baby may have suffered a birth injury after JD delivered them in the bus's tiny bathroom.
We didn't have time for a midwife to get there or, to get to the hospital. The baby came literally in 30 minutes, and she delivered him in our shower. And
thankfully healthy, everything was great.
Amazing. So grateful.
Such a blessing.
According to Lotts, their baby was born without any midwife present simply because he arrived super quickly, which is unsurprising for an 8th baby. Brittany has voiced approval of home births, but doesn't seem to be against any medical intervention. 2 weeks after the baby was born, JD Lott got a call from Florida Child Protective Services. The CPS worker repeated the same claims that the Lotts recognized from comments on their Instagram, that their baby was lethargic, jaundiced, and sunburned.
And you get a message from somebody online who said that your child was sunburned, severely jaundiced. Basically, the implication was you weren't taking care of this child, right? You were neglecting the child. So what did you do? You delete the message, you block the sender, and then what happens?
Yeah, the first one I just thought it was a lone wolf type. A few other followers tag me in it and be like, hold on, like, because it didn't match my normal comments. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, yes, thank you. Took care of that. Well, a few days later, we actually wound up leaving we were at a campsite in Florida, and we left there, went to, visit some friends, and we get a phone call from a
child protective investigator. Well, we've got a allegation that your newborn baby is,
and she just rattles it off.
Just the same, lethargic, severely sunburned, and jaundice. This 3-part quote that was said in a comment that was then repeated to us by the child protective investigator.
I have questions about this medical assessment by Redditors. Jaundice would indicate that the baby was yellow. Sunburn, obviously be red. Which was it? Was the baby yellow or red? I'm also confused by the claim that the baby looked lethargic. Newborns sleep all the time. I don't know how you can tell by a photo or a short video of a 2-week-old that they're lethargic. After getting legal help from the Family Freedom Project, a group dedicated to helping families who have had their children unfairly removed by CPS, they agreed to meet a CPS worker at a hospital so the kids could get checked out by a doctor and not just a social worker. The Lotts reported that the doctor did not find any issues, and it seems that they're telling the truth because their kid didn't get taken away. Following this ugly brush with the law, the Lotts concluded that the person who called CPS must have come from the Fundy Snark Uncensored Reddit page, which they did have taken down. Eventually, it popped back up, but with the post about their baby removed. I will say that if it's true that there were people online who are weaponizing CPS because they just don't like the Lotts, I do think that that is criminal.
Yeah.
But I also think that these people really thought that they were advocating for this kid. I just also think they were probably wrong because a doctor did not agree with their assessment. I checked out the Reddit snark pages, and there are still plenty of people expressing concern over their youngest's appearance. If we're advocating for privacy for minors, it doesn't make sense to turn around and then demand that these people produce medical information about their kids, like a lot of people that I've seen in Reddit forums are doing. When we think about the dangers of constantly posting about kids, usually we immediately think of PDF files, the worst of the worst. This whole CPS episode brings up a whole other area of concern that I think is probably more common than perverts. People developing parasocial relationships with your kids and deciding that they know what's best. Brittany and JD spoke to an interviewer about their brush with CPS, and the interviewer, who is very friendly and aligns with them ideologically, says, "Hey, did this whole thing make you reconsider putting your kids on the internet?"
And the first thing that sort of comes to my mind, looking at your Instagram account, it goes, it's pretty darn close to 700,000 people that are following you there. Does it make you kind of want to go, nope, never mind. We don't need social media. We could be done with this and just kind of live your life out of the public eye?
And this is Brittany's very revealing response.
It definitely makes us rethink how we share and how often. And like in the sense of, I've always shared delayed, but now I'm very delayed. I don't want anyone to show up unannounced because they're upset that Florida didn't take my kids.
In other words, no, not at all. Not even for a second. Instead, now they post on a delay so that people can't really tell where they are. It sounds like they're fugitives. And may I remind you, no one is making you do this. But then you have to remember that they believe they were put on earth by God to promote Bitcoin and monetize their kids' childhood. I'm going to take a guess and say Brittany and JD would probably say something like, "We're not going to let weirdo internet shut-in commies control our lives and tell us what we can and can't do."
People that are attacking us are this really odd, anti-everything traditional subset of people that, in my estimation, it's a growing number in the ranks, but it's still like a marginal at best. Like, we're going to let them set the pace for the world and the tone of rhetoric and communication.
I guess I understand that, but not when it comes to your kids, especially when you claim to be overprotective parents. I think a lot of big religious homeschool families operate like cults, where they shelter their kids to protect them from the evils of mainstream culture and leave it in God's hand when it comes to how their kids will function in the outside world when they eventually enter adulthood. Like, what if your kids don't want to be entrepreneurs? What if they want to do something where they need a degree from a 4-year college? Will they be able to make that happen? And even if they can meet the application requirements, can you help them financially, like with US dollars? Or will they only be able to attend Elon Musk's Dogecoin University of Outer Space? I want to end by saying that I sincerely hope that the Lotts are as happy as they seem in their videos, and I wish their kids every success. And if they have problems getting into college because of their weird homeschool transcripts, let me know, and I will have my mom make some calls. Maybe she can work her magic again. She's very pushy. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, consider subscribing. We post about once a month-ish. But we never know when exactly we're going to post, so make sure you tap the bell icon so that you're notified when we do post. And consider becoming a member of our channel or joining our Patreon. If it doesn't make any difference to you, we prefer Patreon because they give us a bigger cut of the revenue, but it doesn't matter. Patreon and memberships are the same. Andrew wants to homeschool.
I do.
Because he doesn't know anything about homeschool.
History and whatever. Like basic math I could do.
That's the thing. It's like we could all do basic math.
Yeah,
could you do algebra?
I don't care. No one needs that
Then-
app on your phone that does calculator stuff.
Okay. You would fit in well with the homeschoolers who are actually unschoolers who are like, who's to say that a tree couldn't be a teacher? The wind instructs our children in the ways of the world. I knew a girl like that, and one day she was pretending to be a wolf, and she bit my finger. She was like 11. She was too old to bite. Keep that in mind if you're considering homeschooling.
The beach and call it a field trip.
Yeah, they do
Oh,
stuff like that
science
all the time.
expedition.
Oh my God, the field trips that homeschoolers
Science.
go.
Ooh.
Like that reminds me of like Brittany said in a post. She was like, "We learn math by budgeting." Like
By doing our regular.
we learn about economics by going to the grocery store. It's as simple as that. Let us know what you'd like to see us cover next, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining us, and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mwah.